Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel, LifeSnapShot. Evelyn, Greg and Muttley here from Australia. Very overcast day here. I know the lighting's not good, but hey, I'm not that good looking anyway. But thanks for dropping by, I appreciate it. East coast of Australia here, we're about 250 kilometres south of Sydney, state New South Wales. It's winter, 7th of July, and it's about, what is it? It's about, it's almost 1 p.m. in the afternoon, Tuesday. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the laws when it comes to Australia and America and how very much different they really are when it comes to probable cause. Basically, in Australia, for those who don't know, I'm pretty sure it's across the board. We have states like you do in America. We have different states, and when you cross those borders, laws, especially traffic laws, are different. But, the obvious, you don't have to, you can't speed, you got to be licensed, you got to have a registered vehicle and a roadworthy vehicle. All that's pretty much the same across the board. But when it comes to probable cause in Australia, police don't need probable cause. And I just want to bring up some fascinating stuff that we've been watching recently, but I just explain the laws here before I go any further. So, in Australia, they don't need probable cause. You don't need to have committed some sort of crime or broken a road rule or something like that. New South Wales Police, I'm just using my state as an example, can pull over a driver that's driving down the street, fully licensed, registered vehicle, doing nothing wrong, not speeding. They can just pull you over. Now, you can argue the fact, ask the officer, why did you pull me over? And he's going to say for a random breath test. That's totally lawful. It's not like you did anything wrong, but they can just pull you over and give you a random breath test. That's the law. Whereas, correct me if I'm wrong, leave the comment down below. We've just been watching a lot of shows, and I'm going to give you some examples. These body cam shows where you see the police actually doing their job, the American police, the USA coppers, and they, have to have a probable cause. I think it's like your Fourth Amendment or something. I don't know. Leave a comment down below if I'm wrong. I would like to know a little bit more about this. But what we've been watching when we watch these police videos is that someone's like doing something very bad, criminal activity wise, like trafficking or driving drunk or already suspended license, and you are doing something stupid. I don't understand it. Like, if I'm not a criminal, I don't have a criminal record. So this is why I don't get it. Like in Australia, if the police had to have probable cause to pull you over or to stop and search you, then I feel there'd be a lot more crime. Because, if I was a criminal and I was doing something, I had something in my vehicle, like a weapon or something like that, then I'd be doing the best I could, if we had probable cause laws here, to do the right thing. So I'd be driving down the street. If I'm driving at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be knowing that next cop I see, I'm going to be getting pulled over. That's why in Australia, you just don't do these things. Don't have illegal substances in your vehicle, because they can just pull you over because they're bored. But they'll say that I'm going to pull you over for a random breath test, and then they're going to check your license, and I'm going to find stuff. They're going to find something to search that car. So in America, I don't think this is lawful, right? So you're doing something wrong and you're driving down the street, and all you got to do is stick to the speed limit. All you got to do is have a legal license. All you got to do, a valid license. All you got to do is have registration on your vehicle and obey the road rules. And I feel that the American cops don't really have anything to pull you over for. And then we're watching these videos, and then they pull them over because they've done something stupid, like they're speeding or they've run a stop sign. You call them yield signs. And that's the reason. And then they go to town, they pull you over and they go, I can smell marijuana. They check your license. It's suspended. Like, seriously, I don't want to say it, but what else can I describe it as is really, really dumb people. It's just funny to me that you're doing something wrong. If it was me personally, and I'm not condoning criminal activity here, if it was me personally, I would be on my best behaviour. If I had something illegal in the vehicle, or I was about to do something, or I've come from somewhere that I've done something illegal, and the police can't just pull me up. They don't have a bolo on me. They don't know what I look like. They don't know what the vehicle looks like, and I'm just driving down the street, and all I've got to do is stick to the speed limit, yield to all traffic rules and signs, have a license and a registered vehicle. I don't get it. Leave comments down below. Am I missing something
You know
here?
what they say? Behind every great black man
Is the police.
No, hey.
A bunch of slow white athletes?
No.
Cute butt.
No.
Probable cause.
Like the amount of times we watch these videos on YouTube with the police and they're pulling people over and they're so respectful. Oh my goodness, your police, law enforcement are so respectful. Wow. Unbelievable. And all they're doing is asking for that in return. And a lot of the times they would have just written you a ticket. Some states in America, I've watched these videos that they're unlicensed and they go, look, we'll just write you a ticket. And next minute they've taken off and there's a full police pursuit and they're driving through red lights and they're endangering everybody. And then they crash the car and the police drag them out of the car and handcuff them and go, what was that all about? You know, you would have got a ticket. If at worst you would have got a ticket and they would have locked the car up and told you to walk home. In Australia, you do something like have an unlicensed, you got no license. It's not debatable. It's not negotiable. You are getting pulled out of that car. Now, if you're suspended, you'll go into the police shop in handcuffs and you're in big trouble. If a judge you've been to court and you're suspended, it's like a court order, you're done. But if you got pulled over even with unlicensed, at a very minimum, you're copping a fine. They're probably going to take you back to the police station anyway because you're not driving that vehicle. We've seen videos in America that they pulled people over and said, oh, well, you got no license. Right, okay, well, here's a fine. We can't guarantee that the next police officer that pulls you over is going to do the same thing. We suggest you just go home. We've seen that. We've seen when the Philadelphia police, this was a few years back, things will probably change now, but it was definitely in Philadelphia because they were a drug unit, and they seen a drunk driver, and they just said to him, look, we've got bigger fish to fry, but lock the car up and walk home. And they even said it on camera. And I'm like, are you kidding me? They would have, if that was Australia, they would have pulled you over, held you at least, and then got the highway patrol to come and pick you up. There's no getting out of it. There's no getting out of it in Australia. There's no talking your way out of it. You might be able to talk your way out of it in court if you've got just a little thing that's happened to you, like you're doing, 110 in a 100 zone or something like that, and the police are just booking everything that moves, and then you go to court and you go, come on, you got a perfect record, you've never been busted before. But the chances of that even happening is extremely rare. It's fascinating to me that how people react and treat the law enforcement in these videos in America. It just blows me away. I would be, if I was speeding and it was at night and the police pulled me over in America, I would be extremely respectful. I would be not admitting to it, but certainly not saying, you don't know what you're talking about. How could you have possibly done that? That's not true. Arguing with them. I would be waiting until that ticket book comes out. I would be being very respectful, answering the questions, doing as I was told, and trying to convince the person, the police officer who is trying to decide whether he's going to book me or not, give him good vibes, trying to make him think, you know what, I'm going to let this guy go because he's been nice to me. In America, you've got more of a chance of coming to an agreement when it comes to law enforcement if you're not doing something very bad. Now, even if you are doing something very bad, you could still possibly come to an agreement if they pulled you over for something like a traffic violation or something like that. And it blows my mind why more people don't do this. They just go straight on the defensive. They just go straight to being argumentative. They go straight to, I'm a racist, or, just not winding the window down because there's tents and the police can't see inside there, Could be a weapon in there. What do you think's going to happen? The police aren't going to give you or do you any favors. But if you pull over, yep, I'm sorry, yep, okay. Is there any reason for why I wasn't paying attention to the road? I don't get it. I don't understand why. A lot of the time you're in the wrong, driver. The driver's in the wrong, and you still want to argue? You still want to kick up a stink? You still want to scream and raise your voice and call them racists and abuse them? It's crazy to me. It's so weird to me. Where in Australia, it doesn't matter how respectful you are. It doesn't matter what you say. Even in a situation where we've had a lot of people in a situation where they were speeding because they had some problem that they had to get to the hospital, something like that. I've seen these things happen, not seen it, but there has been witness. We hear about them on the news that someone had something wrong. They had an accident and they'd hurt themselves and they were speeding to the hospital. Now, the police did help them, of course, but they still received a fine. So it just amazes me how different and how citizens of our countries react to law enforcement when you've got a good 50-50 chance of either getting a lesser ticket, like not so much of what you've done, to virtually not even, if you treat law enforcement with respect, chances are, and you're all good, your license is fine, your car's registered, police are just going to say on their way. They're not going to even take it to that next step of checking your vehicle. I'm using an example of, them pulling you over, right? Even in an area that's, not very colourful. You know what I mean? So it just amazes me the reaction where if you're doing something wrong, you're in a bad area and the police have pulled you over, I'd be nothing but totally respectful, especially if I've got something I don't want them to find. I would be like, yes, sir, no, sir. Yeah, look, okay, I did that and you're just going to write me a ticket. Fine, go right ahead. Look, hey, I'm sorry. But yeah, chances are you might even get out of the ticket, but the chances of them lawfully checking your vehicle seems to me like it's like if you escalate it, then they're going to check it. And especially if you're doing something wrong, you got some sort of substance or something or illegal weapon in your vehicle, why would you escalate it? It's crazy to me. We've watched endless of these videos. There's so many of them on there, and it's like clockwork. It's just absolutely it's like you're all made with the same mold. It's crazy to me, and they just, why did you pull me over? Well, it's because you're unregistered and you got no license. Well, why did you pull me over? Get on your phone and start being disrespectful, calling your mama or your papa and abusing the policeman right in front of their face while you're talking to your relative on the phone, not complying to orders. It's crazy to me. I would be like, yes, sir, no, sir. You know, especially if I don't want them to look in my car. In Australia, we don't have that. I will call it luxury. Police can just be behind you. You're driving along. You're doing nothing wrong. They can just go, bang, pull you over. Random breath test. We see that you've, anything in the car that we need to know about, you can say no. But if they can just come up with any sort of excuse and make it lawful that they can check the vehicle. Where I find it in America, you seem to make the issue that bad, and they've got no choice but to go, all right, now we're going to check the car. And then it always comes up not good. Always comes up that they've got a concealed weapon or something like that. It's crazy to me. Anyway, leave some comments down below. I just thought I'd mention it. It's just fascinating. I love the videos. I appreciate everyone dropping by and saying g'day, but that's an Australian's version of the American law enforcement, whether it means yay or nay, who knows. Looks like it's going to rain here. But yeah, leave some comments down below. I'd like to hear from people in America and get some real feedback about this, because it seems to me that if you're in that situation, I wouldn't be escalating it and giving the police even more of a reason to suss me out. Even if I didn't have anything wrong, I'd just be like, well, Anyway, please consider subscribing if you haven't. Really appreciate it. Helps our channel out. It starts to grow. Likes, all that sort of stuff. Hey, look out for the next one. Have a great day. See you later.